Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 156 of Be With Me, and I'm stuck on a verse today, which is always a good thing when you read in the Bible. I'm in Acts chapter 27. Paul is on a ship. He's heading towards Rome. They think they're out of the storm, and then another huge tempest catches them. They're actually going to be in the tempest for 14 days. But there's a phrase that he uses after he gets visited by an angel during, I think it's about night 3 of this thing. So here it is. Yet I now urge you to take heart. Paul is encouraging the sailors. Yet now I urge you to take heart. This is verse 22 of chapter 27. I urge you to take heart, for there will be no loss of life among you, but only of the ship. For this very night there stood before me an angel of the God to whom I belong and whom I worship. And yesterday I was poo-pooing the angels. Like, if you consider the fact that God has received us and we belong to God in a little baby sense, he belongs to us, then this angel coming is like not nearly as important. So I was stuck on the turn of phrase, the God to whom I belong. What if I really did belong to God? What if he possessed me and owned me? All right, so I was kind of just thinking of the implications of that. I belong to God so that, I was just thinking of just a whole list of things. I belong to God, so I need to be careful with the stewardship of my body. I belong to God, so I need to watch being mastered by my appetites. I belong to God, so I need to drive an automobile in a way that is kind and is a blessing. I belong to God, so I need to be careful with the use of my tongue. I belong to God, so I need to be a good steward of money and resources that he has given and blessed me with. I belong to God, so I need to use my associations and fellowships and affiliations in the church. I belong to God, so I need to love his church as much as he does, which of course is impossible, but at least heading in that direction. I belong to God, so I need to use my gifts in a way that he would have me use them. I belong to God, so I must consider regularly the awesomeness of the privilege of that association. I belong to God, so I need to be careful with the intake of my eyes. And then I'm pausing and thinking about the implications. And I belong to God, so I imagine he's going to have some things that he's going to want to tell me. And that might be by an angel or a vision or writing on the wall in some sort of extraordinary acts sort of a way. But very likely it's not going to be like that. It's going to be through ordinary circumstances. That if I belong to God, he's going to want to show me through his word, through preachers, through the people of God, would be more ordinary ways of revelation, if you would. And that certainly means I need to be a part of his people so I can hear and listen. I belong to God, so I should be ready for conviction of sin. He's promised that. I should be ready to be encouraged. I should be ready to witness to real people. I should be really loving and really serving the people in God in some practical and prayerful ways. I should be ready for the things that God regularly asks, that is, using gifts in the church, committing to a church, committing to a people, studying his word, speaking his word, and being ready to worship. I belong to God, so I need to be thinking in a certain sort of a way. So I want to flip this over now, just as we conclude. One of the things is I belong to God, and I don't mean to commit heresy, but in a certain way, and I think this is a way He has given Himself to us, that He belongs to me too, that He's given Himself in a very special, intimate, sacrificial way, and in a way that really He wants relationship, He wants to be enjoyed, He wants to be called upon, He wants to be talked to, and ultimately wants to be worshipped. So as I belong to Him, He lets me belong to Him and attach myself and associate with Him. And then similarly, on the other side of the coin, He lets Himself be associated with me, and the other side of the coin is that He lets me associate with Him. And I think when I see that and understand both sides of the coin, it's just an awesome thing. It leaves me with worship. Wait a minute, you mean to tell me that I belong to God, and that He, in a sense, and I say this humbly, that He belongs to me? You just sort of want to fall down and thank Him, and I think that's part of the thing. In fact, Paul says this: for this very night there stood before me an angel of the God to whom I belong and to whom I worship. So Paul ends up associates this belonging and worship very intimately, and so should I. So I pray today, my brothers and sisters, I pray, let's think about, what if I belonged to God, and what if He belonged to us? What if He possessed us and owned us? What are the implications if I belong to God? What are the implications that He belongs to us? Let's think about that today. Thanks for listening.